Hello, everyone. It's good to see you. I hope you're doing well. My name is Roxanne Wilson. I'm the host of Rox Talks, the podcast that helps network marketers grow their business on social media. And through all those things, I help network marketers become clear on how to be the CEOs of you and not just glorified salespeople. And that applies to everyone. So whether you're in network marketing or not, I'm here to help you really get clear on how you can be the CEO of your business and use Livestream to really help you out. So I am so excited that you guys are here. And I hope that what you're going to find and learn today is that it's really about you and pulling out the great things about you, as opposed to me telling you exactly how things have to be. My superpower is I have an ability to let everyone feel like it's okay to be them. So I'm going to share my superpower with you today. Sound good? So good to see you guys. Okay, so first and foremost, I have a question for you. Do you know what your superpower is? Now, I believe we all have multiple and many superpowers. Some of them will apply more to your business than others. So I'd love to know that. Drop that in the chat. And I'd also love to know, tell me, riddle me this, where you're watching from. Where are you watching the show from? Okay, so as I do that, we're going to dive right in because we have a lot of great content. And I want to get you into action. So if you thought you were just going to sit back and relax and like drink your tea, I've got news to tell you. You're going to be doing a little work with me. We're going to do it together today. Okay, sound good? Fantastic. All right, so let's dive in. Okay, so first, let me just share this so you can see it and we'll roll with it. All right, so first and foremost, I want you to know, as I mentioned before, we all have a superpower and we're going to discover that superpower. Now, why are we going to discover your superpower today? You might be thinking, Roxanne, what does this have to do with Livestream? This is what I know to be true. If you don't get clear on who you are and how you're uniquely amazing, guess what? You won't have anything to show for that on your live stream. Okay. The bottom line, if you get nothing else out of today, let me make sure you get this. People don't buy from you because of what you're selling. They buy from you because of you. So let's pull that out of you right here, right now, because that thing is going to be the difference between why they shop from you or they buy from some other online, Amazon, maybe perhaps, or anywhere else, or anywhere between where they work, worship, and work out. So let's pull you out and then we can work with that. Okay. All right. So let's dive into how we're going to do that. First and foremost, as we're doing this, I want you to ask yourself these questions. I'm going to give you 3 questions to ask yourself right now. What comes easy to you? What is something that you can do in your sleep practically that you're like, oh my gosh, I rock at that? What is that thing that's really easy for you to do? Okay. And pop it in the comments, absolutely positively. I want to hear what it is. What is that thing that comes so easy to you that you're like, oh my gosh, that's not difficult for me to do. That really sits well with who I am. Next thing I want you to ask yourself as you're doing that is, what are the things that you do that you would describe as, again, effortless? So maybe if easy seems weird to you, what's effortless? What's something that you do and you're like, gosh, that was just, I don't know. I ran that mile in 2 minutes. That was just normal for me. What is that thing that you can do that's you describe as very effortless? And here's the thing. You might have multiple things. I know you do. I want you to go ahead and pop them all down. All those things that you are fantastic or effortless about, pop them down. This is not a time to be humble. Humility has no place in finding your superpower, okay? Because you were given something innately that makes you so fantastic, and we need to know what it is. And then I also want you to ask yourself, what do you do that frankly amazes your friends and family? That they're like, oh my gosh, she's so good at this. Something I'm really good at. Apparently I'm like Google for my family. I don't know how that happened, but literally whenever my family has a question about something, like how old is so-and-so, or where do I find the best this? They know how to use Google just like I do. They have the same gadgets, but they come to me because they know that I am a master at searching Google and finding all the answers on the internet. That's just something it's a superpower of mine it's my jam. What is your thing that you do that comes easy to you or that people always come to you for? I love that Wendy said one of her superpowers is teaching. Amazing. She said guiding people, motivating people, and breaking things down for people. That's a fantastic teaching and like explaining and making it clear. That's a fantastic superpower that we will work through in a moment and make sure that you know how to leverage that more and more. So I'm going to give you a moment. Ask yourself those questions. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is you're listing those off. And y'all, you might say like, I'm really good at eating avocados. Pipe it down. That counts too. Put that down for sure. Mary says, I'm an educator by nature. I can put health and science info into real person talk. I enjoy going live on Facebook, and my friends are amazed. It brings me back to my classroom days. That's fantastic. So I see she's an educator. We got training from Wendy. And then look, Shad says, teaching and training and imparting knowledge. You know what's interesting about what all you have said so far? There's that teaching element of it. And I'm here to tell you that's so fantastic, because that's really going to feed you and really work well for your live stream. So fantastic. We're going to lean into that in a moment. Okay. Now, if you're saying, gosh, all of these people have these skills about teaching, and that is not my jam, that's not my thing, that is okay. Your superpower could be completely different. Those things that come easy to you can be completely different. And it should be different. Why? Because we're not all the same. We are all special snowflakes, if you get that joke. And so realize that whatever yours is, don't feel like yours is not as good if it's not what Mary or Shad or Wendy said. Yours is just as good and viable and is going to come in handy. Okay. Now, the next 3 questions I want you to ask yourself. You ready? What things are you passionate about? Okay. Now, listen, you might be going, didn't we just cover these, Roxanne? We actually didn't, because you might be really good at some things that you actually don't like to do. Give you an example. Believe it or not, I am a lawyer by trade. I practiced law, did quite well at law. Law was my jam. I wanted to be a Supreme Court justice. And then one day I realized I'm not passionate about this. I don't enjoy this. I'm not going to do this anymore. It's something that one could arguably say was a superpower of mine, was all the things that come with being a great lawyer, but I didn't love it. And so I want you to ask yourself right now, what are you passionate about? And it is okay if that thing you're passionate about is a little different than maybe some of the things you put down as effortless. So make sure you're popping all the things down there. Just write down everything that comes to you, okay? And rock that. So Mary says she's skilled. Let me just pop this on here. She says she's skilled at making delicious goodies and eating them too. Well-rounded shapes. So I love that. She said my well-rounded shape shows that. Mary, you're too funny. But I love what you said right there about baking delicious goodies and cookies and eating them too. And you might be thinking, how is that going to work with her selling on live stream? Oh, wait, I can see exactly where that's going to go with live stream. So, and I love that example because it's very different from teaching, right? So again, if you're really good at something like that, go for it. Or perhaps maybe you're like, I'm really good at pop culture. Pop culture is my jam. Or making 80s references about everything. That's my jam. Put all those things down. Okay. Next question you're going to ask yourself is, what things do you do that bring you joy? That goes along with passion, joy, right? Things you're passionate about that you're just like, this is my mountain. And what makes you happy? What makes you smile? Write those down as well too. Alan says he's great at mentoring. Fantastic. You guys are meant for live stream. Can I just give you that like huzzah? You are all meant for live stream. I love this. And listen, this is a great example. Wendy just says, I'm actually not passionate anymore about teaching art to kids in the classroom, which I think is what she did. I'm enjoying teaching things in other ways on social media to adults. I love that. That's a great example of, you might be really good at it, but we're going to find a way to tweak that. She can do that with adults on social media. And so she enjoyed the kid thing. Now she's ready to focus on helping adults. And she's tapping into that. Way to go, Wendy. That's awesome. Okay, the next question I want you to ask yourself is a good one. What are your quirks? Y'all, I want you to list off all of your quirks. I mean it. Like, what is something that you're really quirky about? Lean into that. Write them all down. Things that people are like, that wasn't normal. You're like, really? I thought that's not normal. Write them all down. What are the things that make you quirky that are just deliciously and delightfully you? Now, why are we doing that? Because these are things that make you super. Think about any hero that you like loved. Did you have a superhero? Is there a superhero that you just absolutely love? Was it Wonder Woman? Was it Batman? Who was it? Ant-Man. There's so many of them these days, right? That superhero had something that was a little bit off about them, a little bit quirky, shall we say, that actually helped them be amazing, right? So write down your quirks, make them happen. Okay, I love it. So Mary says she's passionate about self-care, and she's learned by necessity from her health. Her grandchildren and family bring her joy. Love this list. And she's quirky. She has a quirky sense of humor. Ooh, now that's a good one. I love that. Shad says, passionate about breaking down things for understanding. It brings me joy when people get complex concepts simplified and decomplexify. You know what? I love that. To me, it's like I think about Tetris because I love Tetris. And I love putting things together. You love seeing people have that aha moment where they're able to put that puzzle together. Shad, hang on to that, because when we get to how you're going to leverage that, we'll talk about how you can leverage those things in your business. Love it. And okay, I'm loving this. You guys, I love you talking to each other too. Keep it coming. Alan says he has a warped sense of humor. Hey, that comes in handy too, Alan. So I think that's fantastic. P.S. And by the way, as we do this, do me a favor. I would love for you guys to tell me what industry you're in. What is it that you sell? The industry, if you want to say the company, whatever you want, go ahead and pop that into the chat, because we're going to use those as we apply those to the next part. Okay. So you know your quirks. You have your quirks. What are those things you do? Maybe you chew with your mouth open. I don't know what it is, y'all, but whatever those quirks are, write them all down. Okay. All right. So then once you've done that and you're doing this, and I hope you realize like you have access to this. So these questions, you can go even deeper after we talk about it, but lean into them right now for sure. Okay. So the next thing I want you guys to do is define your superpower. I know you're probably like, already, Roxanne, we just got here. I know, but I only have a little bit of time with you. So I want to rock that. What is your superpower? I want you to tell me what your superpower is. And if it's multiple things, write them all down. We all have many of them. But what is your superpower? Now I'll go one further with you. When you think about your superpower, ask yourself, what is a superpower you have that will assist you in the business that you do? Okay? And do me this, riddle me this. So while you're writing that, tell me what industry you're in and what is your superpower. We're going to rock those together right now. I'm going to give you guys a moment to do that. I need to have like a cape. I should have brought a cape. Forgive me for not bringing a cape. Okay. So you're going to be popping those in. Love the conversation in the chat. Keep it coming. I want you to really define what your superpower is. Now, some of you might be going, oh my gosh, it can be anything. Here's the really cool thing about a superpower. There is no right or wrong. It is what you innately have that basic, wonderful ability to do. Okay. There is no right or wrong. I love to talk. That's one of my superpowers. To me, getting in front of a camera and talking, I'm like, yeah, all day, every day, let's do that. And I've been able to enjoy that in my background. Of course, right now, live streaming with you, I get to do that. So that's one of my superpowers. Another one I told you that I love is something that I do that's my superpower is I have an ability to make you feel good about yourself and make you realize you're normal. Basically, because I'll just go all around the place. Like for me, I'm not like, oh my gosh, I have to look perfect, all these things. I'm just like, here I am. Take me as I am. But because I feel comfortable in doing that and that doesn't make me feel weird, then it makes you feel like I'm allowed to be whoever I want to be. So what are your superpowers? Mary says she's in 2 MLM. She's in Rodan Field Skincare and Silvassa. She loves meditation, mindfulness components of our inner beauty, our overall mental, emotional. Okay, so what's your superpower though? Tell us that as well too. Okay, thank you for telling us who you're with. Fantastic. So she's with 2. She's about health, mind, beauty, all those things. What are you doing? Who are you with? What are you doing? Shad, let us know. Let us know what those are, okay? Because we're going to use those. And she says her superpower is sharing various. I said vicarious. Okay, that too. Sharing various self-care practices with people. Awesome. Alan says almost full-time volunteer and Eric's. Shad says, oh, thank you. I appreciate that, Shad. Thank you very much. Mary, I'm going to push you for a second. Can I go back to Mary and push her? Your superpower is sharing various self-care practices with people. So your superpower is actually sharing, and you're using that with your business to share self-care practices, right? You kind of melded those together. I'm going to guess because of your teaching and all those things. I like how you put it all. I like how you put it all together. I just want you to realize your superpower is that teaching and sharing, as you told us before, and then you're using that for what you're doing by doing it that way. Wendy says hers is she's with Rodan Fields and Stampin' Up paper crafting. Awesome. Oh, Shad, I almost missed your superpower. Forgive me. His superpower is simplify complex concepts in simple wording. Oh my goodness, that is quite the superpower. Just keep it simple for us. You know what, Shad? That seriously, think about it. Whatever you're selling, which I hope you do tell us in a moment. What's going to be so fantastic about that is that you're going to make us understand why we need whatever we need really simply. So we understand I need it because XYZ. And the simpler you can be, the more you can simplify what you're doing on Livestream, the better it's going to be. And think about it. Why? Because we're doing all these different things. You're probably doing 10 things while you're listening to me right now, and that is fine and A-okay. Having the ability to make it really simple so I can multitask and still hear you and go, yes, I want that. I want to buy it is power. That's awesome. Well done. Okay. And Michelle says, I help create community by inspiring midlife women to reclaim their confidence and authenticity late in life. You know, I feel like you guys are skipping to the next step, which I'll tell you what it is as I read these because they are so great, which is actually, oops. Look, I got ahead of myself. Oh, well, it's somewhere. It is somewhere, but we'll just do it right now. Is declaring, no, we'll wait. You guys are doing a great job. We'll wait. We'll go step by step. Okay, so let me see what else there. Mary says teaching and sharing. Yes, love it. And I love this. Shad says, I believe I'm gifted at training and imparting knowledge and turn ideas into action and outcomes. Fantastic. Shad, I'm still wondering what you sell. See, he's being a little, I love it because you're giving us like, yes, I love it. So what is it that you sell? Tell us what you sell. Or maybe you have your own company, whatever it is, let us know what it is because I want to celebrate that with you and go through that. Okay. And I love it. Wendy says teaching, entertaining, making people smile, encouraging. And yes, Michelle, you guys are definitely overachievers. So in this next part, I want to dive into and really the more examples I want to help. Like I love being here with you guys live because I want you guys to walk away and go, I have clarity on this. So lean into, ask me whatever you want because take advantage of me is what I'm saying in a good way so that you can get the answers you need to have clarity to move forward with what you're doing. Okay. Now, this is what we're going to do next. Ta-da. We're going to talk about 3 ways that you can leverage your superpower live, because that's where we are live streaming right here. You're watching it on the Be Live channel. How can you leverage this and make it work for you? Your superpower, whether it be teaching or simplifying things or giving people an ability to reclaim their independence and their confidence. So how can we do that? 3 ways. All right, ready? And I wanted to give you, but I had to pace myself. Okay. Number 1 is this. I want you to, you guys can't see this. Y'all, this is me being me. I'm like, do, and you can't even see what I'm doing. So I'm going to go back so you can see it because you have this pretty slide. And how can I deny you the pretty slide? 3 ways to leverage your superpower live. Okay, first and foremost, now we're back on track, is you want to play to your strengths and use your superpower. So whatever you said your superpower was, it's time to really lean into that. Think about it. Okay. So now that you have it written down and you're looking at it, hopefully you know what it is. Everything, this is your lens, everything you do for your lives, as you're prepping for your lives, as you're doing your lives, you're executing, you're creating it. I want you to think about specifically how you can play to your strengths. Think about this. Have you guys ever watched the show? And if you say you haven't, I'm going to call bull honky donk. But have you ever watched Dancing with the Stars? Okay, Dancing with the Stars, which is probably like on season number 2055 right now. There's something magical about Dancing with the Stars. And here's what it is. You get someone who, best example is a basketball player. Those professional basketball players, I think because they're so tall and like awkward, they can't dance to save their life. The football players, they can, but not the basketball players, okay? Now think about this. When you have this professional dancer, she's been dancing all of her life. She's amazing, has won all these awards, doing her thing. And she gets like tall, like Manute Bol size basketball player. And she has to teach him. She has a week, 5 days to teach him how to do like the rumba or the Lindy Hop or something like that and actually look decent doing it. And the reason I enjoy watching this show from time to time, and I used to watch it all the time, is because I always would think about that professional dancer. You think they're just the partner, right? But they literally have to look at the strengths that Manute or whoever has. Like, okay, well, he's lanky this way, but he can do this and he can do a lift. What can he do? What are his strengths? And what are his things that he's just okay at or not good at all at? And then what do? They literally go, okay, based on his strengths, I'm going to choreograph a dance, 2 minutes, however long it is, that only show off his strengths. Y'all, the ones who are the best at it are the ones you're like, oh my gosh, that person became an amazing dancer. And yes, some of them do, but it literally is, they're like, okay, we're going to hide the fact that you have 2 left feet and you're pigeon-toed and all these things, and we're going to make you look amazing. This is what I want you to think of. When you think about putting together your live streams, want you to say, I am a professional dancer. I am Derek Huff or Julianne Huff or any one of you those that you love, Cheryl Burke, whomever you love. That is who I am. And what I'm going to do is take the show and my strengths and choreograph, produce the show so that I'm showing off and I'm playing to my superpowers, my strengths. You get me? Okay. If not, go watch the little Dance with Stars and come back. You'll get me. That is what I want you guys to do. All right. So now we're going to talk about how you can specifically do that. But you have to say, like, do your superpower stance if you need to and say, okay, I'm going to play to my strengths and I'm going to use my superpower, because your superpower is the thing that makes you amazing. It's the thing we always try and hide, right? I hate the fact that my hair looks like this, or I'm this tall, or I talk like this, or I look. Those things are the things that are awesome. Think about it. Like, if David Letterman had said back in the day, you know what, this gap tooth's got to go, he probably wouldn't be David Letterman. We knew him for his gap teeth. Think about that. If Jay Leno was like, I'm going to shave my chin, he probably wouldn't have been David or Jay Leno. So think about, what are those things that make, like, pronounce them. Can you imagine, what is her name? I'm seeing her face. Barbara Streisand without her nose. Her look is amazing. There's no one else out there like her. And of course, her voice is a whole nother level. But what are those things that make you innately you, your superpowers? Let's lean into those right now. What makes you so good? Okay. Because you are good. And if you're not, then we're going to have another conversation, which we can have. Okay. So let's do this. One way you can do it. Oh, you guys, I did it again. P.S. And by the way, I hope you're enjoying the show, because I'm going to be doing this once a month here at Be Live, and I'm so excited to be here with you. So really, thank you for being here with me on the inaugural show. I appreciate that so much. All right, so let's play into your strengths, shall we? And social selling. Today it's superpowers. You'll see what we're going to talk about next month. All right, so what I want you to do, number one, is make your stream or show about your superpower. So if your superpower happens to go right in line with what you're teaching, then awesome. What you want to do, or right in line with what your superpower is and what you're selling. If superpower and what you're selling go together, then you know exactly what your show is about. Your show is about that thing. So for example, Wendy said that she sells paper crafting, right? And she loves teaching art. So her shows could definitely, absolutely, possibly, and should be about making art on her show. She should be live streaming the creation of making paper crafts, because she's bringing people in. They get to see it. They get to experience it. And guess what? Yes, they will naturally, just like that, want to buy it too. What she's doing, remember, what you're doing with live stream is this. You are making sure that people have that know, like, and trust factor. Being able to stream live, whether you're doing it on Facebook or you're doing it on YouTube right here, right? Or LinkedIn or wherever you're doing it, gives people the ability to know you, to feel like they know you and they like you and they trust you more. How many people have you seen on TV that you're like, oh, that's my person. We're like besties, right? That's what I want you guys to create in your live stream. And don't think for a second that just because you're not on Netflix, you can't pull this off. You absolutely can, and you're going to. So what you want to do is think about, in order for people to know, like, and trust you, it's that superpower. It's that thing that they remember. It's that gap teeth, which I have too, so I can mention that. Or it's that pronounced chin. It's that, oh, they are so good at this. She's that crafter. She's able to make those amazing cards right there. That thing is going to make them stop and buy the paper crafting from Wendy, as opposed to buying it at the store or on Amazon already made or any of those things. So she's going to lean to that. So if it's an obvious thing like that, that's your show. Congratulations. You got it. You got it. Now, what if it's not? Well, don't worry. There's still ways to pop it in there, okay? But if that's the obvious, you're going to make your stream, you're going to make your show about your superpower. Comprende? All right. If not, then the next thing, another way you can do it is to use your superpower in the framework of the stream or the show. And I call it stream or show because I know that you guys, we all call it different things, your live stream, your live show, whatever it may be. So how would we do that? Let me give you an example. Shad said that he's really good at simplifying things. I want to quote what he said. Okay. And he sells results. So he helps consultants and coaches and course creators connect their dream. That's what he does. Okay. That's his thing. That's his jam. So Shad could actually do a show where he's great at gifting and training. He could do a show where he literally brings on either it's a client he already has or he brings on someone who is looking for a little bit of help, and he can do a show Q&A, pop them on where he can have that training and coaching, where he can do a little demo, just solving one issue for them. He could do that. Like if he was doing it right here through Be Live, I mean, he literally could split the screen. I'm going to split it with this, but he could split the screen. It would look like this, except what's next to him would be the person. They could have a full-on conversation right here. And it's something where people could watch and go, oh my goodness, Shad is a really good coach. Shad is going to help me get to where I need to go with with my course creation. He can demonstrate what he's doing without even saying, buy my thing, but showing them a little bit about it is what can give them the aha, like I need Shad. Shad is my coach. I don't care. And here's the thing. They won't care even how much he costs because they're seeing the value of what he's offering that moment and they want a piece of it. So for Shad, a great way to do that, incorporating his superpower of coaching and simplifying things, is bringing on someone who is confused, who needs help, and having that live coaching moment in there. So literally what he could do is maybe he on his social media, and I love my social media, he could have something where maybe it's like a giveaway or something. Like I'm giving away a free coaching hot seat live. Who wants it? Answer these questions so he can find out a little bit more, make sure it fits in what he wants to do. And then he can pick someone. Congratulations, you've been chosen. You are going to be the person who's going to be on the show. Bring them on. Do it right here. And of course, it's a live show. You invite everybody else to be there. They get to be part of it. And here's the great thing, because of the interaction. And y'all, just sidebar, there is power, literally power in the ability to do a little thing like this. By the way, he said, love it, awesome. Do you guys realize the power of being able to pop up the comments right in that moment? You see that? It's powerful because someone could be watching and not be looking at the stream and not realize that the conversations are going on. So it's like, oh my gosh, they're in there. It also is powerful because the person watching, Shad, feels like I am listening and leaning into what he's saying, and he gets to be a part of it. That interaction is a powerful thing. I'm going to go back to reality TV for a moment. Might as well. The reality TV shows that allow you to vote for something. There's a reason that back in the day, oh my God, American Idol, that's what it is. American Idol was so dang popular because you got to vote and you got to decide whether it was Kelly or Justin, which PS, and by the way, did you know that Justin Guarini is the guy on the Dr. Pepper commercials? It's the sweet one. That's Justin Guarini, just a little tidbit. But so being able to do that and having this ability to pop up the comments gives that interactivity that is so very powerful. And it gives them people an opportunity to feel like they're in it even more. So he could totally do that. And that's an example of how he can use the framework of his show, right? He uses superpower in the framework of his show. And so his show shows off his superpower. Now, let's say you're someone who's like really good at Q&A. Maybe you're amazing at answering a bunch of questions. So maybe what you do is your show is answering those questions, and you have people submit questions ahead of time, and you have people put questions in the chat, and you are answering those questions and giving people that knowledge that they need in that moment. So there's different ways. Think about how you can frame it so it's comfortable for you. If you're someone who's like, Roxanne, I know I need to do live videos, but Lord Jesus in heaven above, I do not like to be on camera like this. Can't do it. Won't do it. Not going to do it. Okay. But you're like, I can talk, but I just don't feel comfortable on camera. That's when you make slides, which that is not why I made slides, but that because obviously I don't care. But that's You make slides. Look, then you're this little thing in the bottom. You're still there. They know you're there and you're able to show those slides. So you're leaning into your strength. Your strength is, hey, guess what? My superpower is I love to talk, but by the way, I don't like to be on camera. It's my anti-superpower. It's my kryptonite. So find a way to do that. Shouldn't stop you from doing a live stream. Just make sure that you lean into the dancing and showing off the skills you have and not the ones you don't have so that you feel more comfortable. Okay, let's talk about a third way that you can pull in your superpower to make your live stream rock the casbah. But before we do that, I just want to say something. I know that some of you think that your live streams have to be directly about your business. And I want to challenge you on that because they can be adjacent to your business, right? They can be adjacent to your business and really pull off still what you're looking for. So perhaps you are selling, for example, Michelle says she's selling confidence. Michelle, I would challenge you to think about what can I do in my live videos that shows that off? That's my superpower. I know that's not what you sell, but that really encourages people there, brings people there in that moment so that eventually, yes, they can buy my things. One of the things we do is we want instant gratification. I mean, we remember that song, I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. We're a McDonald's child in a McDonald's world. Even if you don't eat there, I don't eat there anymore either. I know I did when I was little. Happy Meals, whoop. But we're used to the instant drive-through. We're used to that instant gratification. We are. And as a result, we have now thought that everything should be instant. Please don't think that your business is supposed to be instant because your business is supposed to have that longevity, have that stability, which means understand that when you do a live video, especially when you do your first few live videos, don't expect your live streaming to bring in billions of dollars at the beginning. That doesn't make sense. What you want to do is make sure you're leaning into the know, like, and trust factor and giving people something so they can feel like she's my person, he's my person. And then as a result, then all the other things come. That doesn't mean you don't give an offer. I have an offer for you today. And really my offer is for a free event. But I mean, you want to say, hey, if you want more about what I'm giving, here's what I've got for you. But I want you guys to realize that the best thing you can do in a live stream is to give that credibility. And then yes, you show what you're selling. And yes, you're going to rock it and they're going to buy it. But if you really lean into the thought process of, I want to have a connection with each and every one who's watching live and in the replay, you'll be amazed at how powerful all the things come together. Okay. But don't think instant gratification. Don't think McDonald's. Think more like In-N-Out Burger. The line's always so long. Or homemade food. Okay. Whatever it may be. All right. So let's talk about the third way, shall we, that you are going to use your superpower to rock your live stream. And that is by making your superpower statement in your intro. I love this one and we can all do it. So let's say that you're like, okay, my superpower is something that is not at all obvious to what I'm selling. It's not at all. Okay. But it is still your superpower. And maybe you're like, I'm not sure if I'm going to put it in the framework. The show's not going to be about maybe my superpower is like that I'm really good at, I don't know, I trip all the time. That's my superpower. I'm great at tripping and never hurting myself. You probably, unless you're like, what was that show that was on MTV where they always did, I don't remember the name, but they always like did tricks and fell and stuff like that. Unless that's what you're doing, that's probably not what you want to do your show on, right? I think it was called Jackass. Excuse my language. So what you want to do, though, is use that superpower as a way that you can relate to the people who are watching, right? Give them that thing. Give you an example. At the beginning of this, I don't expect you to remember, but what I did say at the beginning, I told you who I was and I gave you my statement. And we're all going to work on our statements right now. And one of the things I said was my superpower is I have an ability to make people feel comfortable in their own skin. That's one of my superpowers. And it makes me happy, it makes you happy. We're all happy. I told you what that was. What I did was I told you a little bit more about me personally, and I disarmed you a bit. Because what I did by telling you that was I let you know that no matter who you are, what you do, what you didn't do, what you look like, what you don't look like, where you're in your business, I got you. You're in a good, safe space. So that's an example. So I want you guys to think about what is that thing that I can do to set the framework. How can I use my superpower as a way to set that framework of what I'm going to do? So let's go back to Michelle's example, because she said confidence was her thing, right? Confidence is her thing. I'm going to pop up. She said specifically, I help create community by inspiring midlife women to reclaim their confidence and authenticity late in life. So let's say she's doing a live, and your lives aren't always about what you're selling, right? So let's say she's doing a live and she wants to make sure people know who she is, her superpower. If she takes those words and says that exactly, like maybe she did her, this is why I said, okay, overachiever, you already did the homework. She already did her superpower statement. But if she said, hi, my name is Michelle Cochran Wells, and I help create community by inspiring midlife women to reclaim their confidence and authenticity late in life, then I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like confidence, I need more of that. Authenticity, she's told me about herself and how she can help me. And even if she goes and talks about dog walking, I feel like I know her a little bit better. Okay. So think about it. If you're Alan, and Alan's was, I know he said he had a witty, I'm finding yours, Alan. Alan said, don't tell me. He has a witty sense of humor, or I don't know if witty was the word he used. But he said, here it is. He said warped. Let me rephrase. He said warped. So let's say Alan's there, right? And Alan is doing a video, and he said he loves to mentor. So his videos are going to be, his lives maybe about mentoring or giving example of that. He can still let people know what his superpower is and use that as a way to connect more with people by saying, hey, my name is Alan Roberts, and I have a warped sense of humor. I'm warning you right now. Okay, what that does is first of all, it gets people ready for what kind of warped sense of humor he might incorporate into the show. But it also is like, good. He has a sense of humor. I can be a little more comfortable with that. Fantastic. If you're like OCD and you're like great at organizing things, you might say, hey, I'm Roxanne, and I am OCD when it comes to organization. So, and yeah, I might add to that. So people so when people need to figure out how to organize something, they always come to me. I'm your girl. And then you continue on with your video. What you've just told me is you said, well, you're OCD, but that you can help me, and you help people with that superpower skill you have. So think about that. Now I want to know what your superpower intro is. Michelle, you can just sit here and file your nails because you did yours already. And it was awesome. But how would you get superpower statement? And here's a little tidbit. Regardless of whether your live stream is about your superpower, like if you're able to incorporate that, like Shad could, and do a whole thing about that or not, or if it's completely different, I still want you to tell us give us that at the beginning. Let us know. And I say at the beginning, but when you do intro yourself at that point, you want to make sure you say that. So Mary says, I help women age confidently with self-care and skincare tips that really work. That last part you put in there, that really work, that's cool, because you're saying, I know my target market might be like skeptical, like, does that really work? But you've told us that you're going to give us that you're the person to go to for skincare tips and self-care tips that really work, like the real deal. That's fantastic. Alan says, I transform vulnerable students into high achievers so they can reach their true potential. Alan, nice. That's fantastic. That's an amazing superpower. And you've made that phrase. That's fantastic. I love it. I love it. I love it. So give us those. Now, here's what I want you to do with these. These are powerful things. As you guys are making your statements and you're putting them out there, save it. Save this, come back and watch it, write it down, copy and paste it, whatever you need to do, because this is going to be that mission statement, that thing that you put in your bios on your social media, the thing you say on your live stream, so people know what they're going to get. Because when you turn on, come on. When you turned on this live, you're like, what am I going to get, Roxanne? What are you going to give me? I had a little bit of time to tell you who I was. This is who I am. This is what I do. Here's my superpower, and let's roll with it. If I know what you stand for, if I know what your superpower is, then I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. Can you imagine seeing a room full of superheroes like the Avengers and not knowing what their superpower is? I'd be a little alarmed. Like, okay, what are these people going to do for me? Okay, should I be worried? Do I need to duck? What is your superpower? So you telling people what your superpower is a fantastic way to start the conversation. Okay? Start that conversation. By the way, if you have questions, hop in here with your questions. I want to hear them. And let me just roll. The other thing, okay, let me grab this. I want you guys to do, as you're writing those down, I love what you guys have so far, is I should mention, as you know, I rock Be Live. I use Be Live for all my streaming and I love it. If you do want to try it, if you just look down into the info below, there's a link right there that you can use to get 14 days and just for 2 weeks, try it. I would recommend like going, okay, I'm going to go live. I'm ready to do it. I'm going to show off my superpower. I'm going to try these things that I've learned today and try the streaming for free. Now, one of the things I love about it is I can stream here. I can stream on Facebook at the same time, which is awesome. Shad, I'm ready to hear it. Here we go. Okay, wait. Let me get to yours. Shad says, hey, okay. Hey, I'm Shad, crazy dreamer and achiever. Ooh, I like it already. You want to connect to your dreams and transform life? Welcome to the club. Woo! I got to get the woo. Woo! I love it. So he's like, hey, I'm Shad, crazy dreamer and achiever. We know exactly he's going to dream big and he's going to achieve those things. And then he also says to us, you want to connect to your dreams and transform life? Welcome to the club. So basically what he's saying is, I'm a dreamer, I'm an achiever, I'm going to take you along for the ride too. You want that? Then come on in, you're welcome. And I love that. Welcome to the club means you're welcome. If you want to be here, you're welcome. Awesome. You see how you guys can incorporate these things? Really, and here's the thing. I know as a fact, you'll have it and you'll do it in your live. You're like, oh, that was clunky. That's okay. Do it a few times. Every time you do it, you want to make sure you put your superpower statement inside of your live towards the beginning, not the very beginning. Let's know what we're going to get. And then after you tell us what we're going to get, say, hey, I'm Shad, and tell us what your superpower is. What it does is it makes us exhale. It makes us relate to you more. And it gives us that ability to really lean into what you're saying and doing. Okay. And as it gets clunky, here's what I know. It's going to get fine tuned. And as you do it over and over again, you're going to whittle it down and suddenly it's going to be like the David. It's marble that goes into like a beautiful specimen that people are going to be looking at for years and years and years and years to come. All right. Okay. So now you know, how do you take your superpower and you leverage that for your live streams? First and foremost, you're going to define your superpower. We went through those questions to ask yourself to really hone in on your superpowers. And then you pick one. Then the next thing you want to do is leverage that in either the framework of your live stream, literally making that live stream based upon what your superpower is, your skill. Or it is your live stream because it happens to go like this with what you're selling. But regardless of whether you do one or two, you definitely want to have that superpower statement that you're going to use and put in your live streams. Shad asked a great question. He said, do we have to use XYZ statement for the intro all the time, or can we vary it? That is a great question. And I have a very specific opinion of that. I think it's like the same concept of having a hero product, not to go down a rabbit hole, but here, think about it this way. If I say to you every time, hi, my name is Roxanne Wilson and I'm the host of Rox Talks, and I tell you that every single time, what are you going to know? Oh, that's Roxanne Wilson, the host of Rox Talks. If I tell you, hi, my name is Roxanne Wilson, host of Rox Talks, and the next time I say, hi, my name is Roxanne Wilson, and I have a website, and hi, my name is Roxanne Wilson, I have this, then it's like you forget who I am. So my recommendation is to lean into it and use it and abuse it like you heard that song on the radio over and over again by Dua Lipa, and they keep playing it over and over again. Why? Because then you remember it. So that retention is great. And I think he asked as well, like based on the topic, if you make it specific enough to what you do, I think you can talk about any topic that way. You might shorten it. So if I'm sitting there talking about cleaning out my closet, I might say, here's 5 great tips to clean out your closet, which I would probably never do because my closet is not clean enough to be telling you how to clean it. But then I would say, I'm Roxanne Wilson, the host of Rox Talks, blah, 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 blah. And then I'd go right into it. Or I'd say the host of Rox Talks and then go into it. So I might make it shorter, but it gives you a foundation of who the heck is she? What does she do? What is her superpower? And then go from there. Great question. Okay. Also, it would be wrong of me not to invite you all because it's coming up and I'd love to see you all there. And I hope you know what you're doing. You've got this. First of all, my first invitation is I want to hear from you. I would love to hear what you get from this, how your superpower is going, how you implement it into your live streams. You know, if you look down below, there's a link right there you can use to go ahead and get Be Live for a free 14 days, 2 weeks to really lean into this and use the capabilities. But I personally would love to know and hear from you as well too. So you can find me on Instagram at Rox Talks. Surprise. And I'd love to hear how it's going. So please do that. And then also, I'd love to invite you to a summit that I am doing, that I'm hosting, I should say. It's in less than a month. It is the Social Media for Network Marketers Summit. And I'll tell you this, let's say you're not a network marketer. Can you learn a lot about social media from the summit? 1,000 times yes. What I've done is I've brought together the best of the best when it comes to social media, all in one space. All aspects of social media, and actually social media adjacent as well too, are going to be there to give you all the insight and all the things you need to know about how to grow your online business circa 2021. I'd love to see you there. It's free. And I'm going to put this up here, right here. Showing you guys the link. It's really just Social Network Marketer Summit. And again, do you have to be a network marketer to be there? Absolutely not. Come on down. Social media is social media. It's just a way of knowing how to, that is not it. 1, 2, 3. That's not it. Let's try again. There it is. There it is. Right there. Boom. There's information. If you guys would like to come, it's a free summit. I'd love to see you there. All right. My challenge to you is to go out there and claim your superpower and use it powerfully in your live videos. I know that you can do it, and that it will be that game changer to really help people know who you are, understand who you are, and then see the capabilities that you have to show off all of that you have when you're selling it. So remember that when you're selling what you've got selling, I love it. This is always happens. My family likes to call when I'm doing live streams. This is a thing. I'm like, stop calling. Remember that when you're doing this, okay, as they get to know, like, and trust you, and you are using your live stream to be authentically you, that is when they start buying from you. They want what you're selling. They want what you have to offer. So lean into this and rock it. Last thing I wanted to say is you're not ahead. You're not behind. You're exactly where you need to be. And I'm so glad you're here. And I'll be back next month with some more great tips on how you can sell socially, social selling live. Take care. Bye.